We're talking 10 early sleepers today. This is our top 10 sleepers for the upcoming 2022-23 season. It's a bit early. We'll probably have a second sleeper video closer to the season. More drafts are going on. But fans, sign up at rotowire.com/try. Go to the NBA tab, click draft kit, click sleepers, and you'll see our site's full list of sleepers. Shannon, let's get things started with your first sleeper pick.
Yeah, my first sleeper pick, our cover boy, Colin Sexton. I will be hyping him up a ton this draft season. I was a big fan of Colin Sexton before he got injured last year. And in drafts last year, in particular, best ball drafts, he was going in the 4th and 5th round easy. The move to Utah, in my opinion, puts him back in that range. His current ADP varies considerably from site to site. We're at 67, 68 on ESPN, 94, 90, right in the early to mid 90s on Yahoo, 72 on Underdog, 129 on Fantrax. Since the trade, he was going before the trade to Utah. He was going in the 120 range on Underdog for best ball drafts. I've seen him go as high as 32. I think it was a mid 30 range, somewhere around 32 to 35 in one draft. That's the outlier. Usually it's in that 70 range, but it anywhere. I mean, I would be comfortable picking him with a top 60 pick now that he's in Utah. There are some injury concerns, but it's hard to argue with his production if he's in a position where he's healthy and receives the volume. He's like a 24, 3 and 4 guy who hits 3-pointers, has good efficiencies for a shooting guard. I absolutely love him now that he's in Utah.
Ken, who's your sleeper?
Yes, sleeper number 2, Tre Jones, young point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. About a 126 ADP on Fantrax. Hey, point guards are valuable. The rebuilding Spurs don't have any veteran point guards, but they do have the 22-year-old Jones as the number 1 point guard on their depth chart. His per 36 numbers last season were 13 points, 7.3 assists, 1.3 steals, and 49% field goal shooting. That's the good part. Unfortunately, he doesn't really hit any threes, but still 7+ assists per game is extremely valuable. Jones has no one pushing him for minutes. PG2, point guard number 2, is 19-year-old Joshua Primo, though Primo really more of a shooting guard who will back up Devin Vassell as much as he will Jones. I just think there's going to be some crazy minutes for Jones. He's also got a great assist to turnover ratio if you're in 9 category.
My first sleeper, Gary Trent of the Toronto Raptors. 93 ADP on Fantrax. He went 88th in our recent NBA podcast host fantasy draft, which we have an article about that up on the site. Nick and I did a podcast about that yesterday or the day before. You can find that in the feed as well. I don't really get this ADP. He's going after pick 100 on most sites. He ranked 60th last year, and this year is going after pick 100 on most sites. I don't know why he's dropping 30 or 40 spots. There's no reason for it. The roster really hasn't changed significantly. One of the best
Flynn never really happened, if you will.
No, one of the best 3-and-D shooting guards in the NBA. Made 3 threes a game last year, 1.7 steals. I understand some people are, get worried about steals variance and they want to back off. I understand some people are going to think, and rightfully, Scotty Barnes is going to take on more usage, whatever. They need Gary Trent's 3-point shooting. They're not a good 3-point shooting team. There's no reason for him not to see 30 minutes a game again. His ADP dropping 40 spots makes no sense. I think it's just a lack of name recognition thing.
Okay. Shannon, take us to sleeper number 4.
Sleeper number 4, Alperen Sengun. The Rockets big man is going to dominate this year. I think it's silly to even call him a sleeper. Just because everyone should already be on him. With Christian Wood no longer playing for the Rockets, it's Sengun's turn to take over. Here's another guy whose ADP fluctuates wildly. basically undrafted in standard ESPN leagues. That will change as the season approaches. On Yahoo 84, Underdog 68, 79.80 for Fantrax. He's similar to Sexton. I am comfortable taking maybe not a top 60 pick, but definitely a top 70 pick. I do believe the underdog value for Sengun 68 is what his value will end up being in most standard redraft leagues. Come the end of the draft season. We're going to see basically a walking double-double. I don't think he's going to be a big scorer out the gates. Efficiency might not be as great as you'd like for a big man, but I do think he's going to get you, 12, 13 points pretty easily, approach double-digit rebounds, and get you some defensive stats as well.
Yeah. Let's dive into sleeper number 5. And I'll say, an obvious trend here, talented players on terrible teams have a heck of a lot of opportunity. That's the theme with Utah, with Houston, with the Spurs. And I'm going to carry that through to Indiana, where I've got Buddy Hield as our number 5 sleeper, 93 ADP on Fantrax. He's got mid-80s on most other sites. Hey, outside of Tyrese Halliburton, scoring's going to be hard to come by in Indianapolis. Enter 29-year-old Buddy Hield and his career 40% three-point shooting percentage. Last season in 26 games with the Pacers, Hield delivered 18.2 points, 3.1 made triples, 5.1 boards, that's surprising, and somehow 4.8 assists, plus 1 steal per game. And great shooting, 45, 89, 36 shooting last year. In Indiana. Hello, I'll take that. Hield and Tyrese already have great chemistry. You probably can't afford Halliburton in your drafts, but Hield is there for the taking. Well, Alex, speaking of three-point shooters, take us to sleeper number 6.
Saddiq Bey of Shannon's Pistons. Average ADP of the sites that we've referenced is 96. I think that's a fine place to take him. I think that's actually a very informed ADP. He ranked 108th in per game value last year. My main point here, Jeremy Grant is gone. Just look at the Pistons depth chart. How many people on this team do you trust to score more than 12 points a game?
Not the centers.
No, it's Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Livers are going to be battling for powered forward minutes. Isaiah Stewart's not a scorer. You have Jagan Ivey, unproven, even though I like him. Cade's going to run the show. Killian Hayes is a backup. You got Burks and Diallo. It's just these names are not guys you trust to score more than 12 to 13 points a game. Jeremy Grant leaves. Saddiq Bey enters. After January last season, averaged 17, 5, and 3 with a steal.
Gotta play that.
Shannon, who is your next sleeper?
My next sleeper, and I'm going a little bit deeper here, is Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls. We whether or not Patrick Williams even deserves fantasy consideration this season has been debated by some of the pundits on Twitter. In most drafts, he's going 140 to 150 range, depending on the platform. So right now, I'm picking him in deeper formats, best ball formats, as a deep bench spot at the wing. I like what we saw from Patrick Williams after he was healthy and became locked in the starting lineup for the Bulls. Over the course, this includes the playoffs, over the course of the final 9 games of the season, 14.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, half a block, half a steal, 49% from the floor, hit 1.5 three-pointers while shooting 42% from downtown. I think there's a very good chance he is the starting power forward for the Bulls.
Ken, we have a familiar sleeper from you.
We do, and you certainly can accuse me of being a homer here, but I'm going to go with a bit of beginning of the draft sleeper. Robert Time Lord Williams, forward and center for my Boston Celtics. He's got a 46 ADP on Fantrax. He went 31st in the recent RotoWire Expert Best Ball Draft by yours truly, of course. He was really buzzworthy last summer. Fans seem to have forgotten that over 61 games last season, Williams ranked 24th per game in 9 category leagues. Yes, there is a bit of a health issue, but Williams has improved his games played count each of the last 3 seasons. He's become a professional on a Boston team that is thin in the front court. He has a chance to possibly lead the league in block shots. Ready to discuss sleeper number 9?
I am ready to discuss sleeper number 9, who is Lauri Markkanen, forward on the Utah Jazz. Fantrax ADP is 130, went 91st in our draft. I believe that was to Shannon, if I'm not mistaken. For the rebuilding Jazz, you have Lauri Markkanen. I think he's going to play like 30, 35 minutes a game. They have a ton of minutes available at power forward and center. I think he could see some center minutes. Whether or not he or Jared Vanderbilt are like the center when Walker Kessler's not there, who cares? Who knows? Ken, let's go with a 10th sleeper.
Our sleeper number 10 is power forward Brandon Clarke of your Memphis Grizzlies. He's roughly 95 ADP on Fantrax, went 107th in our draft. Look, Clarke was the darling of the fantasy community 2 summers ago, but disappointed. Now the big change is Jaren Jackson's injury could have Jackson out through January. We don't really know when Jackson's coming back, and I don't think Memphis is going to rush him. That makes Clarke the starter for a big part of the season. When Jackson was off the court last season, Clarke's per 36 numbers were over 19 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 dimes, almost 2 blocks, while shooting 60% from the field.
Try RotoWire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.